Dr. Kimo Alameda.
All right, thank you, Micah. Wow. Well, awesome. First, what a great sound system. I don't feel like I need to yell. And, this is an awesome day today, so thank you again for allowing this to happen. We was going to do it at 9 o'clock, but then, we just didn't want to eat all your pancakes, so I said if we can do it at 12, that might be better. So here we are, but there's food in the back, coffee, and so thank you for making us feel welcome. So for the pancake breakfast folks, can I get a big round of applause for them? Thanks, brother. Nice job. All right, so on my campaign, I came here 2 times, maybe 3 times, and same issues. I can tell you. Back then, at one time we were talking about the abandoned vehicles, about and there's still abandoned vehicles. We talked about the dog attacks, dogs, criminal behavior. We talked a little bit about public safety. I remember there were questions about Mauna Loa if it erupted again. So I got a pretty good sense that water was probably the biggest issue. Access to water, safety, and such. So today what we'll do is you get to meet myself and you get to meet my team. We probably dedicate about 50 minutes, like this group discussion, and then we'll break. And we'll spend another 30 minutes so that you could hit any one of my team directors here or deputies if you got specific questions. So what we'll do is they'll introduce themselves so you know kind of what department they oversee, and then we can start with the questions. So, and I know in groups like this, some of you got questions, but much of you just got statements. So David's laughing. Yeah, I don't have a question. I got a statement, buddy. And that's okay too. We take statements. Also know that, if you have a question or a statement, that's fine. You get to have one until everybody, and if you want to have another one, then you got to wait till everybody else has a chance to at least have one. So then it's fair and not one person just asking all the questions. We want to maximize our time with everybody. And then again, if you do have another question, just know that the last half hour will be, you could ask any one of them, or me, if you like. So we'll leave that half an hour time for just a one-on-one. All right, so that's pretty much the rules. It's going to be real simple like that. Okay, I'll turn it over to my team. Laura, take it away.
Aloha, my name is Laura Acasio, Administrator of the Office of Sustainability, Climate Equity, and Resilience. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, Craig Kawaguchi, Deputy Director, Environmental Management.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Summer Tokihiro, Director of Human Resources.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having us. Diane Nakagawa, Finance.
Hi, everybody. Dennis Lin, Deputy Director for Research and Development.
Hi, my name is Zach Burgum, Acting Administrator for Mass Transit Agency.
Aloha, good morning. My name is Jeff Darrow. I'm with the Planning Department.
Aloha, everyone. I am Michelle Galemba. I am the County Council Member for District 6 right here.
Kazuo Todd, Fire Chief for the Hawaii Fire Department.
Hey, Chief, I don't know if that's good or bad, but you're getting claps, buddy.
Aloha, I'm just Talmadge Magno, Civil Defense Administrator.
Hello, I'm Reed Mahona. I'm the Deputy Police Chief.
And I'm Ben Moskowitz, the Chief of Police. There you go.
All right.
Equity. And I'm Keith Okamoto, Department of Water Supply.
Jay Yoshimoto, Assistant Corporation Counsel.
Aloha, Merrick Nishimoto, Deputy Managing Director in the West Hawaii Civic Center.
Thank you. So Merrick's my deputy. My Managing Director, Bill Brahante, is not here today. He's actually a tennis coach. And he's on Maui, and they're in the championships. So he coaches Waikīkā High School. But yeah, so here we are. So let me just show you how this all played out, right? So I'm a psychologist by trade, right? I'm a family person. I have seven children. I was an educator, school counselor, school teacher. I went on and got my doctorate at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. Yeah, so I came back saying, I said, you betcha, you know, and aloha you all. So, and so, you know, so then, you know, I had to look for a team that could complement my weaknesses. And my managing director, he's an attorney, and he's been in the county for, you know, he worked under 8 mayors. So he has that institutional knowledge, because, you know, there are a lot of good things that my predecessors, the prior administration has done that I want to keep, and some things that I'd like to change. So those good things I want to keep. And half of the staff is from the prior administration, and they're really, really good. And they've really, you know, I would say the chemistry that we have as a team is really good. I mean, for them to even come out on a Saturday, it's just thank you so much, you guys, for really coming out on a Saturday like this. Appreciate you folks. Appreciate you folks. So that's Bill, and then Merrick. He's an engineer, and he's from the Kona side, west side. So he'll always represent, and he's always conscientious of west side needs, because we tend to be Hilo-centric since most of the government's in Hilo. And so coming out to Ocean View, we was in Na'alehu last week, Wednesday. Next week, Wednesday, we're going to be in Pahala, right? And then on next week, I think that Saturday or following Pahala, we're going to be in Volcano, and then we're going to be in Pahoa. So we are all over the island, just getting a good feel for the needs. And it's different, because people say, Kimo, what is your priorities as the mayor? Well, it depends. You know, it depends where we at, depends who I talk to. And so we got a good feel for what you all priorities are in Ocean View. So, okay, so how we do this is I'll just start here, and then we'll just go all the way to the end, and then we'll probably go one more time back, and that'll make up the 50 minutes. And then we'll have a half an hour to talk to our directors. So ask a question or make a statement, just tell me what it is. So we'll go from there. Just raise your hand if you have a question. Yeah, go ahead, Heidi.
I would like to know what you're doing to increase the hiring for the animal control department.
All right, animal control. So animal control is not here today. I think that Heidi, they knew you was coming, I think. But I can tell you as the animal control supervisor, right? So we've had many talks. His name is Matt Reynolds, and so his department it's still in its origins, you know, and he has filled some positions already, and we are looking at having a kennel here on this side, because I think the kennel's in Puna, and it's super hard for them to come out this far. So that's on our agenda. Yeah, because that's a big issue here, right? The wild dogs.
There's three openings on the website, but they all have requirements of like 3 years experience. And how is somebody supposed to get 3 years experience if they can't start working?
Right. Is Summer here? Oh, Summer's here. Yeah, we got HR here. She just got it. Summer, introduce yourself.
Hi, again, Summer Tokihiro, Director of Human Resources. And so those positions are actually career ladder positions. And so we recruit at multiple levels. So like a position, you may see it as Animal Control Officer 3 or 4. That actually starts, the career ladder starts at Animal Control Officer level 1. And so that we provide that training and experience, and then once they meet the requirements, then the position is reallocated up to level 2, et cetera, et cetera. So those positions are all created on that career ladder.
Why are they full?
They may not, because they're not full at the beginning level. We haven't had enough people applying, so we're, looking at, different ways to, get the word out for those.
All right, so I'm going to work my way like this, then it's going to be like, okay, go ahead.
Okay, speaking about positions and not having people to fill them, I've only lived here for about 18 years, but I rarely get a dental hygienist who is living on Hawaii Island. They're coming in from Oahu. I had to get my bone density scan in Hilo because the person who did it on the other side resigned and they had nobody to do it. What are we doing as a county to try to get those positions filled? Because I think they're good positions that pay well.
Okay, let me repeat the question.
And I think that we need to get our young people into
Sure.
this career path.
So she's asking about dental and basically healthcare. So how can we get more dentists? How can we get more doctors? You know, you lived here 18 years and it's very hard to get a dental appointment.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is they keep bringing these people in. They fly in from Oahu.
Right.
And I know they're perfectly fine and they're very good, but it seems like there are some well-paying jobs on Hawaii Island that are being filled by people coming in from other islands, or just that there isn't anybody to fill the position.
Okay, so let me tell you, in the county, so we got 20 departments. And by the way, so I just found out that Matt, our director for animal control, is on the mainland. So that's why he's not here today. So he makes one of the 20 departments, but we don't have a Department of Health because we're a county. So it's a state Department of Health. So that was my previous job. I used to be a psychologist for the State Department of Health, you know, and then I was the CEO for the Bay Clinic Health Center, which we merged with Hawaii Island Community Health Center. Once I did the merger, and then I ran for office, and here I am. So with healthcare, we support healthcare. We give grants, right, through our research and development, but we don't do healthcare, like, you know.
So what's being done in the education system to make these children aware that these jobs are available and that they should, because, you know, $60 an hour is a decent hourly, I think.
Yeah, no, so I mean, our schools, they do have academies. So they have, you know, like Waikīkī High School, for example, if you're Kohala High School, or if you're gonna go this side, Konawaena High School. I mean, you know, they have academies, so the health academy, and, you know, but our kids got to be interested. I got 7 of them. None of them want to be a psychologist. None of them want to be a dental hygienist. None of them want to, you know, one of them out of the 7, I finally got one to want to go college. You know, they all just want to work. So I'm a blue collar guy. They see their grandpa's a plumber. The grandpa on the other side's an electrician. So they all want to go into trades. And we need our tradespeople too. So we need them all. But thank you for raising that concern. Go ahead.
There are no road signs for Ocean View, and I think we deserve to let drivers know where they can get gas, food, and anything else.
Okay. Road signs. So our Neil Azevedo, who's the acting director for Public Works, is a coach, right? And so we got a lot of community advocates on our team too. So he's coaching today. But Merrick, you'd like to answer that?
Yeah, so most of the roads here are privately maintained and owned. So it would be the responsibility of the homeowners association to have signs posted. So I'm not sure who the representative is. Oh, on the highway.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Okay.
So this highway, is it state highway or county?
Yeah. It's state. So yeah. So let's talk later to see what signs you want, but we are not able to actually install signs for you, but we can coordinate and ask the state DOT to reach out to you guys. So we'll take your name and number, and then we'll see if they can coordinate with you and help you with the request.
Or just we can contact too.
Oh yeah, I can give you.
I mean, just a simple Ocean View, you know, here at the other end.
So people know.
Yeah.
Thank goodness Google know, or I wouldn't have found it. So at least Google knows. All right, working my way up. Okay, wait, we're working our way down. So I'm going to go here first. Okay, so then I'll catch you guys second. I promise. We're just going to go here and then in an orderly way. Okay, so you guys cannot ask you guys questions now. I'm here. Okay, go. Oh, go. Okay, sorry, you first.
Sorry. My question is, I know how you talked about the dog. What about the abandoned vehicles?
Abandoned vehicles.
It's getting worse.
Yes, it is. I noticed. Just from the last time. We're so fortunate to also have our county council member too, who's been through these types of questions left and right. So, abandoned vehicles. Craig, take it away.
Yeah, so we do have a abandoned vehicles program, and we are able to take 2 vehicles, 2 vehicles from the property per year. And if there's more, then we can work with the planning department. And we can talk more later if not.
So 2 vehicles per property. Okay, I know, and that's great because like we love that program, and that's free. Oh no,
it's free.
Okay, it's free. Okay, but here's the problem. I think the problem is abandoned vehicles on private property, but the owner is nowhere to be found. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you could. Hey, you don't want to give up your question now, but yeah. So like on the street corners and yeah. So
that'll be planning or council.
Is that a council
tough one,
question
right?
or no?
I mean, so you got abandoned vehicles on private property, and the property owner is nowhere to be found.
So.
And you have more than 2.
Yeah, way more than 2. Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, this is all too common, especially in Ocean View. But it is also common around the island. We have some extreme examples where there are hundreds of abandoned vehicles. And it's not like they're abandoning them. They're bringing them to their property. They're stripping them down. They're utilizing the parts and selling it. But they're not taking responsibility for getting rid of it. Planning department is the department that you submit a complaint to. We go out and we issue a violation to the landowner. There is a process. These are the most difficult complaints to deal with, especially when it involves many vehicles, because it takes time and it's hard to be able to get the owner or whoever's doing it to take responsibility to move those vehicles. What ends up happening normally is these end up with our corporation counsel and going into litigation at court. And the end result sometimes is a lien on the property. It would be good, and there has been situations where we've been able to link up with Department of Environmental Management to bring some of these cars out of here. But again, we just have to take one of these at a time and work through it until we get it done. Thank you.
I know I'm only allowed one, but I'm going to send one more. What as a community can we do here to help expedite, or is there any way?
Well, you folks have a road association.
They don't do it. Only because
Correct.
fans are talking.
Yeah. Again, it's the vehicles have to be moved at some point. To move a vehicle, you need a tow truck or some sort of means to move it. That's the big difficulty. Somehow they're able to get it there, but it seems like it's a lot more difficult to get it out of there than it is to get it there. And what we do is we put the pressure on them to get rid of it, but again, it's a long process. If we could, in the past, it depends on the cost of metal. Some of these companies that are out there that will salvage, if the metal prices are good, they'd be willing to come in and try to assist to take these vehicles out, but they get to get the money for the metal. So there are options. We just have to be creative about it. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go here. Sorry, we're going to go up this chain, and then we're going to go up this chain, and then we're going to start again. So just so that we have order. So go ahead. You got your question, and then I'll catch you guys next. Go.
Okay, so my question's about all the crime going on in Kea'au in detail. I mean, we have so much crime. People stealing, people are afraid to leave their houses because of these people coming on and stealing. It is rampant. But what's happening is that these criminals are not being held accountable. They go to jail, and then guess what? The judge or the DA lets them off, and they're back out on the streets. What can we do to stop this? Because we should not be afraid to leave our own homes, to go do our shopping, to come back to nothing. So what's going to be done to stop this horrible criminals that are just all over the community?
Anybody hear that? How can we prevent or decrease criminal activity here? So that's Go ahead, Chief.
So I think you hit the nail on the head a couple times with your statement. There is crime. Not all of it gets reported to us. And part of that, I think, is because there's a perception that if you call HPD, nobody's going to come. So I'll just answer that question now for you, because that's the logical next assumption. So while it might not seem like it, and if you have specific details, please come talk to me after, and I can run those details down. And while it might not seem like it, we respond to just about every call. Admittedly, though, if you call and you wait an hour or an hour and a half and you don't see anyone and you stop looking, you might not see the officer who comes way later, okay? And I'll give you that. This is the officers that work in this area respond from the station in Nālehu and from the area from Volcano all the way out over here towards Captain Cook. On a good day, there's 4 people. Most days it's 3, some days it's 2. And because of that, when we send officers to like a domestic argument or a fight or some sort of violent crime, we don't send an officer by themselves. So if I have 2 officers in Nālehu on some kind of case and something happens here, first of all, they have to get from there to here. And second of all, the number of officers we have is not sufficient for the size of the area that we have, okay? So I'm unpacking this one thing at a time. So one of the nice things is that Mayor has put 3 more police officers in the budget for next year, starting July. Now, we certainly have to hire and we have to train them. They're not going to be here July 1st. But to have the spots means that we can go out and recruit and hire and train and get somebody on the road. In the past 2 or 3 years, we've added 4 officers using vacant positions that were already out here, which is what's gotten us from 2 on the road to 3 and sometimes 4. We also were able on May 16th, there's an upcoming promotion internally where we're going to staff, once again, we're going to staff a community policing officer at the Kea'au station. That's been vacant for quite a while. And this is only possible because with help with human resources and finance that we've been able to recruit a whole bunch of people and now they're starting to hit the road. We have a lot more people in training, but again, we got to get them through those phases of training before we can put them out here to fill those vacant positions. And I know it sounds like I'm just juggling, but there really is a process and we're really engaged in the process. I think we have a class of 25 or 26 that's going to start in July or August. But again, for those people to come out here and get their first assignment where they're going to respond to your house is going to be 10 months because it takes me 10 months to put an officer through a classroom and to training on the road to get to the point where they can operate safely and satisfy your demands at the crime scene when I bring them in with no experience whatsoever. So over the last 2 or 3 years, we've really ramped up. We're doing 3 police classes a year. Like I said, we have a class of 20 or 30. It's not going to solve the problem today. It's going to be 12, 15, 18 months before we have all the positions out here staffed. Now, when we get to that spot where we have all those positions staffed, now instead of 2 or 3 per shift, we're looking at more like 4 or 5. And on a good day where nobody's on vacation, 6. But think about what that lets us do. Now we can put 2 officers on this side, right? We can look at, and we've talked with the mayor, look at finding a spot to build even a small substation or place where the officers can hang out on this side, which is going to encourage them to be around in the neighborhood. Right? Oh, that's not the problem, right? The problem is that at the moment, I don't have anybody to put in it.
Chief, you're talking about investigating the crime after it happened.
That's correct.
He wants to know, what do we do about the crime? Please answer.
Yep.
Explain stand your ground. Let us know how to protect.
I'm not going to explain stand your ground to you. That's we're not going to go there.
What's really good, check this out, you guys. He just said, right, he just added 3 more positions that you didn't have in the prior administration. That deserves a round of applause, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay, he also said that he has a recruiting class that's coming on board. Now, he did say that it's going to take 10 to 12 months, but you waited 4 years. This administration will get it done within a year, but it does take time. It does take time. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, we're not going backwards, we're going forward. So we're here now. We're here now. These guys deserve a question. You guys got any questions? Go ahead.
You said you got nobody representing animal control here.
Yes.
I just want to say,
sure.
If we could get a goal that has something
Yeah, kennel or.
Amazing.
Yes. Yes, we are shooting for that, and that's why we got our finance director there, and she's aware that we need a kennel on this side because it's too far for animal control guys to come here and take the animal all the way back. So. Okay, I'm working my way here. Anybody here? Thank you. How about here? Okay, go ahead. Good afternoon.
Thank you for coming.
You bet.
As a mayor, how would you feel about, rather than the county electing a mayor, the board Michelle, county council would hire county supervisor, hired and fired, rather than election. This has worked very well in other counties and other places. What's your thought on that?
Let me tell you, Mayor Billy Kinoy, in my opinion, was awesome. Okay, prior to that, Mayor Harry Kim, his 8 years was awesome. The second 4, that was tough. Last administration was tough. When you have a mayor that's not a leader, you're going to have that kind of questions because the mayor is not strong. So you're going to have, hey, why don't the county councils, you can hire and fire. The voice, because what's going to happen, in my opinion, what's going to happen is that you're just going to have, you need a leader. We didn't have problems with the mayors from when I grew up, right? I born and raised here. Okay, you get a good leader, they'll get it done. I'm not in favor of it. You want my opinion? Not in favor of it, right? Because what you do is you're just going to, then Michelle's going to be the mayor. And then you're going to have a problem with Michelle.
County councils would hire or fire.
There's a checks and balances. You need checks and balances. If not, the county council is going to fight for they're all just going to fight for their one district, right? They're going to fight for their district. So Michelle's here because she's fighting for her district. But who's fighting for Big Island? You're going to need a mayor to come in and say, okay, county council, behave now. I know you guys all fighting for your own special needs, but you need a mayor to even it out. And that's why mayor is important. Thank you, Richard. Okay, same row. Brother, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is for Keith, please. You're talking about what kind of incentive are you doing to get more policemen on the job? I mean, 3 policemen, yeah, it's great. It doesn't help us anything at all.
Not right now.
I got you. And 3, well, 3 is not 3, right? 3 is 15 because to staff one person 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with vacations and holidays and sick days and everything else, I need 5 people. So I need 5 bodies to put 1 person in your neighborhood. Okay, so 3 is not really 3. It's more like 18 or 20. But point taken. So we do offer a recruitment incentive. So I think there's up to $1,000 or $2,000. I'm looking over at HR who funds our recruitment incentives. When people join the academy, they get the first half of the incentive. When they complete that training and they make it out and they finish their first year of probation and they're out working on their own, they get the second half of the incentive. So there's a financial incentive. But the other thing we're trying to do is build a culture in the police department that addresses the concerns of the employees. So not only can I get you in the door where you might want to, take a job, but after that year and you start to be a police officer and you're here 2, 3, 4, 5 years, what can I do to keep you? And if I can stop people from leaving, then that makes it easier to fill, right? You got to plug the hole in the boat at the same time you're bailing the water, or you can do one or the other all day long, right? So it's things like that. It's things like, and it's some things that you've seen that maybe to you might not seem like retention incentives, but letting officers drive pickup trucks, that's huge. The people who went out and bought a pickup truck are all super happy people, and that costs us as taxpayers and the county nothing. So it's things like that, things like increasing incentives for hiring and things like providing support for officers who are here. So we're developing our peer support. What you might not know or what you might not think of is that police experience like traumatic incidents or critical incidents almost 80 times more than a regular citizen does. And with that comes a lot of, not to get too soft because I'm the police chief, but there's a lot of trauma, right? There's a lot of trauma, and the more it builds up, the more you turn into the police officers that if you think of a stereotypical police officer with his sunglasses on, ignoring everybody, sitting with his back to the wall. That's the result of, and you can ask the psychologist in the room, that's the results of decades of trauma. So one of the things we've done is to invest in a public safety counselor who works for the county, who can provide counseling services island-wide to police department employees and their families free of charge. And that's just another incentive to keep people in and keep people healthy and keep people coming to work.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Okay, I'm working my way here. Okay, I'm going to go here. I see you.
So, again, back to you. So I've had several instances of calling police, and it's really disturbed me, the things that have happened. I've had things where I've had somebody firing a gun in the dark next to my home. I have 3 children and a wife. I've had somebody break into my property and come on my property that was working supposedly for the state that broke my gate coming onto it to try to deliver papers to somebody. I've had a case where somebody was threatening me at my gate, and the police came on and told me to just keep my head down, literally gave me the same, like, just don't cause problems with other people. I have somebody fire a crossbow bolt armor piercing at the back door where my kids are. My kids are on the other side of my car. It's over at OKK. And the police never followed up. They never followed up, and it's frightening. And then I saw somebody that got shot and hit by it in Hiro up in Kona, and we ended up getting into the newspaper because we were being ignored. And then that lady, because that newspaper, called us and was like trying to follow up and understand what had happened. And it's like that the police did not follow up with us.
So why don't we talk story after, and you can give me some specifics. What you're describing to me is not acceptable. It's not acceptable from a police department anywhere. It's certainly not acceptable for the police department that I'm in charge of. So let's talk story after, and you can give me some specifics. If you feel like you are not being serviced by the police department, then I would encourage you to call the station, talk to the captain. If that doesn't satisfy you, call my office and talk to me. I schedule appointments. I meet with people all over the island all of the time to talk story about all kinds of concerns that are coming up. Sometimes we can handle it real quickly. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes it's a culture thing that's going to take me a while to look at. Sometimes it's a misconduct thing where I can address it with discipline and correct behaviors that way. So let's talk story after. You can give me some details, but for the whole room, part of it is us coming here, right, and having a meeting and standing here and answering your questions and taking your concerns and committing to you that what you're describing to me is not okay. It's not going to go on with my knowledge and my consent. So if you experience similar things, again, ask to talk to the sergeant. If it's more serious, call the station. If it's more serious than that, work your way up the chain of command. We have a robust chain of command of administrators between me and the officer who's going to show up to your house. But I'm definitely committed to helping you to solve those concerns.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, I'm gonna go down there. Go ahead.
Thanks. My name is Aunty. I've either grown up in South Kona and lived in Keaʻau or South Kona my whole life. A couple of comments.
Sure.
The claps, I'm sorry, I think the reason a lot of the divisions don't get claps is we don't have a lot of services out there, so we're like, we know the fire department, we know the cops. Thank you guys. Not that you guys are also about the abandoned vehicles, I think what we need to do is not just like, we need to petition our county council to change the law. And that's what it is. The laws are, many other places, cars are allowed to be on the road for more than like 48 hours of their term. Ours is like much longer than that. Yeah. And then, issues, the police, they're busting their butts and people keep getting out. It's not about the police department, it is talking to elected officials about what's happening inside probation and what is happening inside parole. Then it also is talking with our prosecutor's office.
Thank you, Andy.
Those are the places that I think we need to go, but I want to thank you. I'm sorry we've had such a horrible experience with the police department, but I have had nothing but great experience. I've had response every single time, and all the police officers that I've had involved with have been really great. My question.
Okay.
My question is, at the Lakewood meeting, I spoke with the captain of the Hawthorne area for the police department, and he said that there's plans in works to possibly move the police department in Keaʻau to Ocean View and make that a substation.
Oh.
I thought, well, that's pretty cool. What's happening is before 20 plus years ago, this was a very small place.
Yeah.
It's very apparent this place is just growing.
Yes, growing. Yes.
And, and all the services are not able to keep up with what's going on. So my question is, if the police department is having this plan, my question is actually for every division. What is a plan for every single division of some sort of a response to what is going on, considering the extreme amount of population that is happening and will happen? And how are you guys going to jump ahead of that? And also with refuse, with the rubbish.
Right. Okay, that's 7 questions and 6 statements. Okay, wait, let me think. Okay, so let me tell you. So we have just as my thoughts, and then whoever wants to add, you could stand. So we have services in. So this was the question, I don't know, 20 years ago, and then they built West Hawaii Civic Center. So you have a West Hawaii Civic Center, okay? Then you get Hilo. So now the question is, hey, maybe we should, because Waimea is asking for the same thing, right? So we need north, and then of course now you're saying we need south. So that's apparent, so that we could have more representation on the south side. And so Waimea wants, and Honokaʻa and Waikōloa wants more representation on that side too. So, you know, I'm looking at Diane, our finance person, and, you know, I mean, it's rough. I don't know, I don't think she needs to answer. It's a budget, gonna be on budget issue. It'll be a budget issue from where I'm standing. But there's some departments that we scatter. So like the planning department, you know, and you know, like they don't have to be north, south, east, west. Like some of them can be centralized, but some of them we could move out. And so I'm thinking about like police, they have a station, fire, you know. Go ahead, Kazu, Chief.
Okay, so a couple things going on. One of the things is in the last couple of years, we actually added another position up at our fire station, and we minimum staff to 5 just up the hill from here. So that's our Ocean View Fire Station. So on a given day, one of the things I did want to put out there when we talk about the expansion of services and everything else is that our volunteer crew out here is actually in need of some volunteers. So definitely we are always looking for people that want to come along with us and help out on the fires. I actually had a brand new brush truck that was basically for the Ocean View volunteer system, but Mac, if you guys know him, amazing guy, actually had to retire because he's just gotten a little bit on in years. So he was my driver out in this region. The other thing we're working actually with Michelle Galimba is recently the property in Nalehu where we put our ambulance. There's a little extra space in there, and so we're looking to establish a little bit more on our rent to add another 2 bedrooms over there, so that when we run into those red flag events like Maui had seen and our August 8th when we had the fires running around our island, that we can actually staff up our station on overtime and actually have a couple more places for guys to bunk overnight if we need to. So kind of coming out of August 8th and you know, with you know, funding and permission from the mayor, how we do our staffing has changed as well, so that when we're looking at these kind of weather conditions where we might experience some explosive growth, and Kea'au is one of those regions, and sometimes we have some stuff going on over here as well, we're actually staffing up. So right now we're looking at some stuff to make that work as well. But definitely can always use some volunteers if anyone's interested.
And also, you know, we do have, speaking of volunteers, we do have a really pretty strong Friends of the Park. Because volunteers might help us. I mean, that's not solving the problem, but it does. They do help, and sometimes they don't know that they can help. Clayton, you'd like to talk a little bit about Friends of the Park?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mayor, for that. So Friends of the Park program that we have is kind of island-wide. We do have a small budget for it, and what it is that, you know, anybody who has an interest in helping us at the park, similar to Chief Todd over here, mentioning about the volunteers for the fire program, we can, you know, take on some of you volunteer groups out there to work in, you know, whether it's cleaning a park or painting tables or what have you, can join up and sign a Friends of the Park agreement with us. And
we buy the tools, we buy the paint.
Yeah, we still put out the supplies
the labor,
for that.
yeah?
And that's why we have the small budget that's given to us to pick up those supplies for people to help us at our parks with. Because, you know, again, staffing island-wide for us, we're trying to build up our staffing. This coming budget, we'll be adding some positions as well to building maintenance workers, you know, that's going to be out on the Kona site to respond to this area as well as to Kona. Right now, all of our staff responds out of Hilo. We have carpenters, we have plumbers, we have electricians, we have a fencing crew. Over the years, we've added parks like the Pahala Gym or the Mauna Kea Recreational Park, the Gilbert Kahele Park. We always added park caretakers. We added Pahoa Park, we added Waimea District Park. But just adding park caretakers wasn't enough. We needed the plumbers, which we still have the same amount of plumbers that we had 20 plus years ago, you know, and we've have all of these extra facilities that are out there, but all of the work orders to maintain those parks, you know, keep backing up. But the mayor has allowed us to add positions on this side of the island, which we're adding like 3 building maintenance worker positions, 1 more plumber, 1 more electrician on this side, 1 more equipment operator to come and support those things. But the Friends of the Park, you know, program that we do have allows you guys to come and help us out to paint picnic tables, do brush cleanup, you know, on the side for us. And, you know, all it is just, you know, filling out that Friends of the Park agreement and signing off on waivers for that. But basically, a simple program, really helpful to our parks facilities with all the manpower that's put out there by our communities on the various parts of the island. So,
thank you, Clayton.
Yeah, thank you.
How about this one? Go ahead, there. Yes, you.
I don't know only one of my clarifications I want to say. Number one, I've been here 28 years in Blue Valley, raised my children here. I taught swimming at the Kohala swimming pool in the late 80s. Where's the, oh gosh, I'm not trying to get in.
Where's the pool?
Where's the swimming pool?
Kohala.
I called the aquatic manager.
Okay, that's a good question. Go ahead. Okay.
Called aquatic business manager and he said, well, next year, I've had a dramatic drainage, we let.
Oh, okay.
It's not going to be as willingly as others. I watched kids paddleboards for their boogie boards. My kids that I taught swimming, they won championships in Keaʻau state races, my swimmers. So this is major. It's not just for kids, it's for me. I used to swim mile 3 times a week. Now I have nowhere to heal myself after what I went through. Second, why don't they open the bathrooms in Waimea Park? It's done, this COVID thing. Maybe people still get COVID. But why don't they open the bathrooms in the Waimea Park? And number 3, this method. Oh God.
Take your time. Take your time.
Oh, I don't know if you can help me.
Try.
We've had no gas station in Hale. You know, we want to go through it, and then we're going to like to Hilo. Wow, I know that's an issue. And the funding issue, back to the funding thing, I spoke with Celebit, Michelle Galimba, and she mentioned the funding issue. The regulations changed from 4 inches to 8 inches. Okay, fix the pool, you rebuild it. Back to the swimming pool.
Okay. All right, we're going back down this side. So there was two main questions. One is, right, so the question is what's going on with the Pahala pool and the bathroom? So Wahino bathroom, there's eight bathrooms that I committed to, okay, in this term. Because to me, it's like using bathroom is like basic human right, okay? I mean, when you gotta go, you gotta go. So Wahino bathroom is one that I've committed to in this term. And so thank you for that. So that answers that question. And it's amazing, you know, the bathroom's like, it's close to $1 million just for a bathroom. That's how expensive these things are getting, but we gotta commit to that bathroom. So Wahino's bathroom, we'll get that done before I'm done, for sure. And the other question was on the Pahala pool. Yeah. Okay, thank you this side. You guys were very patient, but you guys was more patient, so I'm starting here when we go with our questions. Okay, but go.
Yeah, so
go pool.
Well, first of all, the Wahino bathroom, that project's gonna start up probably in about December or so to get addressed. The design we're in the design stage right now, so that's gonna be completed soon. And then the target to start up the bathroom probably around December sometime. The pool, actually, the design work is almost completed, so we had to go back to redesign for that. When we came on board, the pool was already shut down already for additional design work in regards to additional repairs that we found had to be done. So that design work is nearly complete, and I think we're gonna be starting that in the next couple months, I think, maybe like June or July or so, that project will get started up again. So it's going to be addressed, you know, very soon, in fact, the pool, sooner than people would think.
Thank you for that. And by the way, I still trying to figure out how come, you know, the schools, it's a school pool, right? So like, but the state, they just push this all on the county, you know, and make us responsible for it. You know, it's a deal, really, it's a state, school, pool, county, but you know, we got to do what we got to do, because you don't care where it's the state, county, or feds. You just want it done. So I hear you. Okay, I'm going to ask you folks. Go ahead, Pam.
Is there any kind of incentive that we can give to get a vet down there?
A vet?
We have no vet.
Michelle, she's a rancher. Tell us any thoughts about how do you get a vet down here? Well, first we're gonna have to get a dentist down here. How are we gonna get a vet down here? I don't know. It's hard, yeah.
That is, I mean, that it is very much a private enterprise, so I don't know that there's anything.
Tax break you could offer to entice someone to come down there?
It's a thought.
Yeah, the plumbers do.
I can get you plumbers. I'll call my dad. Okay, I'm gonna thank you for that. I'm gonna go here. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. State your question. Talk loud.
I wanted to find out the resolution that you signed in April with the police department here. I would like to know what this is all about.
What did I sign?
Regarding the ICE working in conjunction with ICE.
Oh. Okay, yeah. So here's the ICE update, Chief.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So that agreement allows allows us to share office space and allows us to have some of our officers cross-designated and sworn in as federal task force officers. But the federal task force officers that work for the police department are not allowed to do immigration enforcement. The police department has not, does not, and will not be involved in immigration enforcement. So the MOU. And again, the issues kind of got very confusing, and there's a lot there to unpack. But essentially, the MOUs, there were 3 of them. One of them allows us to work with the FBI on a safe, easy for me to say, safe streets task force. The second one allows 2 HSI agents when they're working on drug and human trafficking and those kind of investigations to use office space at the police department in Hilo. And the third one allowed us to have these task force officers who, and it's very clearly written into this memorandum of agreement, and it's very clearly in all of their paperwork that they're not allowed to do immigration enforcement. So basically what they do is they use a federal authority to investigate people who are importing drugs to the state. That's probably 80% of it. There's also some child exploitation federal guidelines and some drug overdose guidelines. So if someone dies of a drug overdose, there's no state law, but there's a federal law that says we can use the information from that investigation to go back to the person who sold them the drugs and hold them. But that's all federal authority, and we can't do any of that unless we have folks who are sworn in as such.
I'm more concerned about ICE coming into the communities here now and taking people away. 17-year-old was taken away, even though from Konawaena school, even though it was proven that his aunt had custody over him. Where is this young man? 17 years old, where is he? Does anybody know? Can you tell us?
I can't because we're not involved.
Yeah,
we're involved by providing space to an office or whatever.
But not for immigration enforcement.
Yeah, so we stay out of it.
Sorry.
And we made that a point. We're a very diverse community, and I'm real proud of our police force for drawing that line.
Because I feel like you're taking police away from their other jobs.
Exactly. So we're with you on that. Okay, we're gonna go this line right there. Yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry, you cannot ask your second question until everybody else gets a chance for ask their first question. Patty?
Yeah, I'm Patty Berry, and I've been here for 30 years, owner of the land office and realtor. I just wanted to get some information about 20 years ago, I believe it was the community, it may involve the county, state, I don't know who. They gathered up all of the old cars that we have here in Ocean View. They took them down to the baggage lot that is on the road. And somehow got shipped off to probably China. I have no idea where it got shipped off. But it was done as a community effort. So we have to look into it, maybe through the community association, because I think they were involved in it. We also have a place where they collect all the white junk, and something was done down here along the market. And all that garbage was taken. And the other thing about the abandoned cars, that was the abandoned cars.
Can I ask you real quick, because that sounds like a great idea, but, okay, so like a while back, was it 30 years? Great. Were you here 20 years ago, or you just graduated from high school? Oh, okay, so ask this, because that, like, I like that idea. Like maybe the county, maybe there's space, and we could take all these cars and just put it in this, because we don't know where to take it yet, but at least we could organize it somehow, you know? But then it would be a junkyard, so I don't know. No? Oh, they had a time limit? Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Mayor. So this was, there was a period of time where there was an organization that was operating at the landfill. And you could bring your cars to the landfill in Hilo, and they had all the cars there. That was the same organization that ended up bringing these I don't know whether they flatbeds or whatever they were, and they would work on bringing down all the cars, and they would take them into Hilo. And again, this was that idea I mentioned earlier, where they would get the monies from the salvage, and that's how they were able to work out that agreement. Because somebody just can't do that. I mean, that's so much money and time and effort. But in this particular situation, it was beneficial to the company to come out and get all of that metal to be able to make money.
Is metal not worth anything?
I'm not sure what it is now, but if it's easy to check.
Okay. Oh. Do you have a second question? By the way, because I got to...
That was a statement.
Oh, there was a statement. Oh, okay. Oh, clever. Okay, good. Okay, you get one more statement. That's it. Because I don't make.
There was another statement. I'm organized the neighborhood watch here, and it's very successful. I don't know where it stands now, but I understand you haven't had a community police officer. Officer Goodor was our community police officer.
Oh.
And they got all the drugs out of here. Whenever there was a crime, and they had patrols that were going on and working directly with the police officer.
Okay, let's check with our police chief, that statement.
Should get extra credit, you know.
Okay.
You guys don't have any questions for like Talmadge or no? So I'm just kidding. So we actually have just rehired and promoted someone into being the community policing officer in Kea'au, which is this area. So if you have neighborhood community watch questions, that's going to be your point of contact. That person starts on May 16th. So they get promoted on Thursday or Friday.
Every month.
Mm-hmm.
And the police would come in, they tell us about all what's been going on and all of
Yep. The problem is that spot's been vacant for a while because someone left and we haven't had the bodies to refill from promotion. So coming very soon, this week.
Now, I have one thing to talk about. Is
Okay. Wait. Let me ask the group. Can she have another question? Okay, go ahead. Wow. You should run for mayor.
Ties into Road to the Sea.
Okay, go.
Okay, this is the ADUs, okay? Great, we have ADUs come into the state here. Okay, so that would be great for us on 1 acre properties. We could put 3 other houses in them. But we fall under I was a CDB representative for Ocean. But we fall under this state land use A, and we fall under A. So we can't have it.
Well, let's see what Jeff has to say, planning director. You want to sit down, bud? Oh, okay.
So you're absolutely correct, Ms. Berry. The land in Ocean View as well as Ranchos is all within the State Land Use Agricultural District. So this is something that the state does not allow within the agricultural district under their designation. If the county zoning is also agriculture, but if the overall state designation was either rural or urban, you could do it. But in this particular case, you're limited to what they term as farm dwellings.
Now, my understanding is we would have to change that with the land use, and we can't do it because the plan, the general plan, is already being done, and we can't do it for another 10 years.
Well, the general plan currently identifies these particular areas as rural.
We have to change that.
Right. The difficulty with that is once you do that, it also allows the ability of these particular properties to be able to be subdivided. And so you're talking about doubling the density in this area, which is already pretty dense.
Not necessarily.
That's what it would be.
This sounds like a great talk story for the last 30 minutes. Okay, do you guys want? Can she ask another question? No. No. I gotta go here. Sir, you got a question? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Travis. I have something to say on behalf of our skate park association in Ocean View.
Sure, go ahead, Travis.
Our treasurer and Secretary Marr is not with us, but she wanted me to remind you that, she said she spoke to you on the phone before you got elected.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, chose to vote for you. So I guess that's why you're here. So to me, well,
thank you.
And I wanted to do probably 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I was informed to go down to Ocean View and help those people get a skate park through so they can get a public skate park. So I had some experience working in Kona. One time I met Billy Konawaena, the Parks and Rec director of Hama many years ago. And I remember that was kind of the vision, me going, getting the property and doing all that. That was maybe 15 years ago, but I live here now, and she wanted me to follow up on you with the environmental assessment, because we can't move forward right now. We have some grant funding for it, the Keiki space, I guess, and this golf course, and we're still waiting for the environmental assessment to be completed to do the larger grants needed to at least do the first phase.
Travis, you really want to, and then you make sure you talk to Clayton after this, okay? So what you got? You want us to do a show and tell real fast?
Yeah, so I have a poster right here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I should show it now, but I'll be able to show it to you later. It's a concept drawing of a skate park.
Oh.
It's a Brian Skate Park. It's the same company that's working with Hilo.
Okay.
And just like you know, I met Mark Hubbard from Brian Line Skate Parks, the founder. He passed away many years ago, but I got to go in his backyard and as a carpenter and avid skateboarder for many years. I moved to Seattle when I was 21, and I got to go in his backyard, and he was just getting ready to form Brian Line. They build skate parks all around the world, and they got to build the Seattle skate park, and I got to ride it.
That's perfect.
I appreciate people's patience for letting with the traumatic brain injury, because I have a traumatic brain injury too, and sometimes my dates and stuff are bad, and also migraines and things like that. And we want to have a safe skate park that's not over-exaggerated, that's going to help our younger people get good. And they're
like that.
Here on this island.
They are good. They give us something to do. Thank you, Travis. Thank you so much. And you look like Tony Hawk, man. Okay, Rick has a question. Go ahead, Rick.
Well, first, we do have a neighborhood watch, and the next meeting will be May 18th.
There is a neighborhood watch.
Right here at 2 o'clock.
May 18th, right after May 16th. Okay, Rick.
Can Ocean View get a public school?
Can Ocean View get a public school? Michelle. That's so much state.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a state. I mean, in fact, so Miloli'i, so we was in Miloli'i about a month ago, and they're pushing for a charter school. So I know they're trying to get something there, because even coming out of Miloli'i, those kids are having difficulty. And we have a huge absenteeism issue on the island. So if you have a school here, you wouldn't have to worry too much about the bus system, because there's a bus issue, right, for our kids that's here going to Na'aleo. So we hear you, and I've been grumbling with the state forever.
Water.
Yeah.
We need water.
We need water, is that what it is? For the schools, yeah.
We don't have a school.
They don't want to do that. That makes sense. They can't do it on catchment. Okay, you guys, I hear you.
I'm Heather, and talking about the school, so we can't get one here. What can we do about what is y'all plan for our children's education? Because my son is going into 9th grade in Keaʻau, and he's been sick with the flu, and there's not been a nurse for the elementary, for the middle, or the high school there.
At Kohala?
And it takes me, 45 minutes to an hour to go get him when he's throwing up or they're sick. What do we do?
Yeah, so this is why I'm so happy to see your council member here. Because Michelle's, but you know who's not here? Is our state reps. So where's Capella? Right? I mean, so that's why we invited them all. We said, hey, we'll do all the legwork, right? We'll get the flyers out. We'll get you folks to come. We'll market it, but they gotta come. But your county council member, Michelle Galimba, she's here. But we're still county. We're still part of the county, and so we gotta make noise with the state. And I hear you. So, but somebody mentioned water. All right, so water's going to be an issue, and so here's an update. Here's your best update.
And I just want to say, I'll bring up all of these state issues with Representative Capella.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. So the water situation, you're not gonna. I don't know how you're gonna answer this, because this is a tough question. It's always been an issue on this side. So take a stab at it, there, Keith.
Yeah, and first I want to share that we have total respect for those communities that are on catchment, because you guys know, right? It takes work to make the water come from your tank, come out of your faucet. you guys use it wisely. Don't waste it, right? Don't leave the hose running uncapped or anything like that. So I want to say that first and foremost, good job for all that you guys do, maintain your own water systems. As far as this whole region, the big challenge is we do have that one well, as you know, that feeds the fill station. And that well is maxed out. So we have to get a permit from the State Water Commission for a pump and what the capacity of that pump is. And they've told us that we have to limit it to so much, I believe it's 100 gallons per minute, because there is the potential, if we draw more than that, that the aquifer quality will be compromised. And how the aquifer is fed is basically from Mauka recharge. So basically this whole aquifer that's feeding that one well doesn't have the sufficient recharge. That's just how it works. So for the school or any other large development, it's going to be a challenge because this whole region, you know, we tried to do a study to see if we could drill another well in the region, and that one came up. It wouldn't be any different from the situation we have now. So it's going to be a challenge. There might have to be some out-of-the-box thinking. The other challenge is we're so far up from the coast. We're even considering desal in other parts of the island where in the past we'd never consider that just because of the costs. But times are changing, climate's changing. We got to look at options. It's a tough situation here. But yeah, we'll always be willing to talk story and see if there's ways we can assist.
The desalinization idea is probably now is the time to start really thinking about it, because that's one way to get water. I'm gonna go here. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'd just like to say I thank you guys for coming out here. I feel left out in Ocean View a lot. Really appreciate it. I've lived here for 10 years and I've called HPD 7 times and they've always came to my rescue. Came and see what I needed and helped me.
Wow. Hey, help yourself with breakfast after this. Yes, go. Good to see you again. Yeah.
How do we increase the fines for animal cruelty? And hit them in the pocketbook.
Yeah.
Don't put them in the jails.
Increase the fines. How can we increase the fines for animal cruelty? Michelle?
So we are working on rewriting Chapter 4, which is the animal chapter. And the current fines are extremely low. The Chapter 4 hasn't been worked on for probably decades. So that is in the works. I can't. We can raise them. That is just probably part of the solution. I think the probably better solution is really getting more animal control presence here. And also, you can't put it all on animal control. I think the other part of it that we're working on is building up sort of the animal ecosystem or the animal care ecosystem, because animal control has to do, they're charged with doing sort of the policing part of taking care of animals, but it's like Hawaii Island Humane Society, Action for Animals, Pet Fix, all of these other nonprofits that are really important in taking care of animals, educating folks to take better care of their animals, that are also really, really important. And so we're trying to build up that entire ecosystem, starting with animal control and building from there. But it does take time because it basically collapsed completely, and we're having to more or less start from zero.
Right.
Patients. But I think we're seeing positive stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I drove around Ocean View the last couple weeks, and it used to be I couldn't go down a road without seeing loose dogs, and now there's much less. So kudos to animal control, even though they're not here.
Yeah. That's going to be a continual issue for us, animal control, for sure. So I'm going to this line here. Yes, sir, Anthony.
I've been here a long time. Mr. Mayor, nice to meet you.
You too.
I'm one of those volunteer firefighters you're talking about may not be a lot of help. I've been a volunteer out here around 20 years. I just resigned not too long ago for medical reasons. Our chief, long time, haven't seen him, was great chief since he's been chief. They've been at him. When I first joined, we didn't have any pay. He's done a lot for our community here.
For the police chief, though, Chief, I've known personally a lot of your officers because I've worked with them over the years. Great guys, hit or miss, like any department, anywhere. A lot of your guys leave because it's not your fault. The county council needs to work with this chief here. I've had them tell me they leave because they make more money working construction jobs than being cops. And they don't have to worry about getting shot. So you guys need to work with getting them more money, and also the state needs to work with getting criminals that have the illegal guns and quit harassing the people that abide by the law. Obviously, I am a gun owner. I abide by the law. I also have applied for my CCW. Everyone has. No one has them, it seems. Why not?
Thank you, sir. Oh, Chief? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people have them. So that's not what everyone means. Let's come talk story later. I'd be happy to take your name and look into the status of your application. We have 120 days under the statute to process you or deny you. Typically, they're turning around in 30 to 45 days with background checks. If yours is stuck somewhere or people you know are stuck somewhere, let me know. I'd be happy to find out why and get back to you.
All right.
But
here's
we
a
sign
question.
dozens every week.
Here's one more question. Go ahead.
On the subject of dogs, we have so many dogs on the subdivision, and some of the people just, as soon as the mother pit bull has a litter of 13 newborn pups, they would just throw it out on the roadside with a towel, leaving them to die. But I was wondering if these are pit bulls, and some of the pit bulls are about $5,000, the better breeds, but it's the most favorable species here on this subdivision. Actually, these pit bulls are very, if they're trained right, they're very harmless. But I've heard stories about some of the pit bulls gouging out eyes of children. It happened in Manuka Park. But anyway, getting back to my point, can some of the dogs become police dogs that are trained right to help the police?
Hey, Chief, you're the most popular person in Ocean View right now.
Overtime. If I earned overtime, I'd be putting in for it today, but I don't.
All right, last question before we turn it over to the group.
That is a very creative and fabulous idea. We actually do have several police canines. Usually the breeds that we use are specifically selected and trained from birth so that they can carry out one of basically 2 or 3 functions. The first one is drug detection. The dogs, some of the dogs' noses are very much more tuned than ours, and they can detect drugs and conceal places. Another reason we use canines is for, we have canines that can track people. So if we have a missing person or a fugitive. And the third thing that canines exist for that we don't really have here is just a general patrol, like a bite dog, which we don't really have that as a program here. But most of those are breeds that, we're investing thousands of dollars in getting the dog specifically because it comes from a breeder and a trainer that when we send our officer there to basically match up with the dog, that the dog has already been trained. So I love your idea though. I don't know if the pit bulls are the right choice, but
Thank you,
for effort, creative.
Actually, we're going 2 more bonus questions or statements. Megan.
Hi. I'm Megan. I'm heading up the Ocean View Resiliency Hub here at the Community Center. I just wanted to make it known that to everybody and to all our officials here that we're also working on getting this building retrofitted to meet the standards for an evacuation shelter. Since right now this is not really up to standard, especially for wind events, and you got to go Na'alehu or Kohala right now. So that's something we're working on. We're in contact with a lot of the folks in the government and also some organizations in the community that are going to help us. But I just wanted to let everybody know that.
That's awesome. Thank you, Megan. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for coming. And my name is Farley. I'm the conductor of the orchestra here in Ocean View and also the Kona Orchestra. And yeah, we're starting to get a little lively art scene here in Ocean View. And there was recently a play here, and there's Keck choir, and things are happening. And so my question is, how can the arts organizations here on the island better partner with the county?
I love that. I love that. So we have an arts section in our department, and that's our research and development. Dennis! You get to close us out before we open it up for one-on-ones. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for supporting the arts. And our department has what's called a Hawaii Film Office. It's part of the larger state requirement to have film offices on each island that helps with film production, TV shows, that kind of thing. But also is our creative media specialist. So if you have efforts such as an orchestra or something that we're supporting right now is a songwriting contest, songwriting festival, you can apply for our grants. If you're a nonprofit, we can give up to $25,000 for those types of initiatives, and we can also get support from the state Department of Business Development and Economic Development. So.
Thank you, thank you. If you have any, so we'll stick around now, and I think there's extra food over there. Well, wait, let me say this. Hey, if you got questions on the environment, Laura is an expert in that area. Okay, some of your questions does impact the environment. Please talk story with her after this. If you want to talk more about abandoned vehicles, he'll take a lot of notes. Okay, Craig will take a lot of notes. Summer's our HR, so hiring practices and such. You guys had some questions for her, please hit her up. Finance, I mean, you can ask about the budget. I will be very transparent. And so, if you have any budget questions, our research and development, that's more like economic development. Transportation, Zach didn't have any questions about the bus system, but I do know that transportation and routes and all might be a question for you all. Okay, and then of course planning. Jeff is planning. County council member, she's here. She's at the Kohala one. Very committed to this community. You can hit up Michelle anytime. And then of course our chief, fire chief. He got the claps in the beginning, so he didn't need more claps. Park and Recreation, Clayton, you got to hit up Talmadge. So that Megan, the evacuation, however that plays out, you may want to ask Talmadge questions on that. And then of course, you got our police chief and assistant chief here, so they've been knocking it out today. And then of course you got water, and then you got our attorney. So if anybody, sue the county, then he can help prevent that whole rigmarole. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody. Hang out. We'll be here. This is an awesome place. Enjoy the rest of the day. Aloha.